Welcome to the Build Insight podcast. Real people, real insights. Step into the world of innovative construction, one conversation at a time.
Today's episode is part 2 with Jess from Climasure. If you missed last week, head back and check out the insights for part 1. Otherwise, enjoy the episode.
Let's turn maybe to a little bit of where the NCC is at. I know this is always a bit of an interesting topic. Professionals like us, we kind of see the NCC or understand that it is the bare minimum. We like to go above and beyond. Where do you kind of see that it's at the moment? Obviously, there's 2025 updates that are, I don't know, I remember asking Will Frogley, he couldn't really give me an answer when it'll come in. He said maybe end of next year. Is there anything that's in the new update that has surprised you in a good or a bad way, or do you think it's getting better, or where are we at?
I believe I asked Ben Walsham, who's also been on this podcast, this question, because I keep getting asked about the NCC. He's the NCC guru.
Yep.
So I asked him because last year the building code was paused in South Australia for 10 years.
Yeah.
I believe that is now not the case. I believe that.
Well, they changed it.
I believe, don't quote me, I'd have to, I'm not sure, but I believe that the 2025 code is now being introduced in South Australia in 2027.
Yep.
So that means it's not quite 10 years, maybe like if it was paused last year, let's say like 8, not quite 10. Wait, what am I talking about?
No,
3. I'm getting my 2s and my 3s mixed up.
Because it was, and this is the crazy part, like each state, they've kind of got they're under their own little terms on when they decide that they want to implement it and actually bring it in. So for those that don't know, the 2022 changes were finally only implemented in South Australia. Was it like August 24?
Yeah. Oh, all the code stuff it's a little bit vaguer in my mind than it used to be when I was actually working in the code.
Yeah.
So
I think from memory, I think it was August 2024 when we finally implemented 2022.
Right. Yeah.
And that was when, I'm having a mental blank now. What's her premier's name? Malinowskis. When he came out and said no more changes to energy efficiency in South Australia for 10 years.
Yeah. I feel like that was only last year he said that. Maybe I'm getting my,
I think it was 2024 when they finally announced it. Anyway, either way, so that would have meant that, it's terrifying to say that out loud, 2034 would have been the next change.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And then because the code changes every 3 years, I sort of like, well, it's not going to be 10 years. It's going to be like 12 years by the time we actually get any changes. By the time the delay comes into play, I was thinking this is going to blow out. But anyway, Ben has informed me that he believes that the 2025 code is going to be implemented here in 27.
Great.
Could be wrong.
Thank you, Ben.
I doubt that he's wrong, but I'm just going to caveat that because I'm not sure.
Yep.
Now, the one change in the 2025 code that I'm excited about is the drain and vented cavities. That's the one that we're all talking about because a lot of us in this space, builders in this space, have been doing drained and vented cavities for years.
Yep.
And it's, along with air tightness testing being, a really simple, easy way to test and improve a building, the drain and vented cavity is a game changer for moisture management. So, that's one thing that I'm pretty excited about. It does change. It does change some detailing and design issues. So it's something that everyone needs to be aware of when the time comes.
Yep. Are you? This is a bit of an interesting question. Are you somewhat optimistic on where you think the code will eventually head? Do you think it will catch up with where we actually need to be? Or do you reckon that's going to be after potentially our time?
Well, I mean, if I'm going to be positive, it's already got some terminology in there that's useful. It's got blow door testing in there as an option, not compulsory yet, but it's in there as an option.
Can you explain a bit more about how that's worded?
Okay, yep. So it's a verification option. So under the building code, when you do, for example...
Only for 2025?
No, it's been in since 22.
Right.
I'm going to say 22.
Yep.
I don't think it was before that. So when you do an energy assessment, for example, you can do the star rating. You can do DTS, deemed to satisfy, which is tick, tick, tick. Like, yes, you do all the things you're supposed to do. Or you can do an energy simulation, which is the star rating, or alternative verification against a reference building assessment. So there's the core building code, and then there's alternative ways of getting around those requirements or complying with those requirements. I say getting around because that ended up being a lot easier.
Yeah.
The alternative solutions end up being easier.
It's a bit like your council approvals. There's the DTS, you can do everything that the council wants you to build, but then there's also performance assessed where you can push the boundaries and argue it, and in some cases you win. So similar to that.
Similar to that. And so that's what blow-door testing is for the air sealing section of the building code.
Yep.
You can either do the tick box, yes, we've sealed this and that, and it's able to be sealed and all that loose jargon, or you can do a blow-door test and get under a permeability of 10 cubic meters per hour per square meter. Now, nobody actually uses that clause. It's in the building code.
Yep.
But no, and I take that as a positive because there's terminology in there that is talking about air tightness, which means it's being introduced into the conversation. And I see that as a win. As far as that being compulsory, that's probably a very long way away in Australia. It's compulsory in places like Europe, parts of America, the UK, but in Australia it's probably
on every build.
Some of them, parts of Europe it's compulsory. In England it's compulsory on every single build.
Yeah, wow.
And I heard a story from a guy who's no longer working for the Air Tightness Testing and Measurement Association in the UK, but the old principal or director or whatever he was, Barry Cope, he would tell stories about how there'd be a moving van in the driveway of these places, but the blow-door testing contractor was still working, and if they didn't pass their blow-door test, the van had to leave. Like they weren't allowed to move in unless the house passed the blow-door test. So it's compulsory.
Wow.
It's compulsory in the UK, every house, and they have to achieve a certain level. It's not 10. I think it's 5 there, or it's lower.
Yeah.
The blow-door testing stuff is in the code. The condensation stuff is being talked about, the membranes, the roof ventilation in cold climates, that's going in the right direction. It's still not perfect, but it's going in the right direction.
Yep.
The drain of vented cavities is a massive step in the right direction.
Yep.
So overall, I think building science and building performance is so much more complicated once you start to uncover and get into the nuts and bolts of it. But the code is slow, but going in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
For over 130 years, Bowen's has been the builder's choice, providing a service that provides timber, hardware and innovative building products.
And now we're helping you further with this wonderful partnership.
The family that have been here for generations, Bowen's, has been powering the Australian building industry with family values, trusted service and the drive to make our industry better. They're helping us provide you the insights that matter. Build insight together with Bowen's.
Real people,
real insights.
It's a lot to, if you're new into the space, it's so much to soak in because there's a lot of, you're kind of used to, as a start out builder, thinking of the aesthetics of the home, and it's kind of driven by the architect. And, you're more focused on, this type of cladding looks better and these windows look better and this cabinetry, and focus on the stone benchtop selection. When you start to understand the way that certain materials and products will perform, how air passes through them, off-gassing, certain things like that. It's a very, very deep rabbit hole, isn't it?
And it all changes once you start putting insulation in. So, all of this would matter. It matters more when you put insulation in because you start changing how heat moves throughout a building. When you start changing air tightness, you change how air moves throughout a building, and you're changing how moisture can or cannot escape from a building. So once you start doing all these energy efficiency improvements, there has unintended consequences that you have to be aware of in order to make sure that house is going to stay healthy.
Yep.
The energy efficiency requirements are well intentioned, but they do have unintended consequences if you're not fully aware.
Is the drain and ventilated cavity, is that only for climate zone 6 and above?
6, 7 and 8.
Yep. 6, 7, 8. Yep. Which we're residential or metropolitan Adelaide, we're only 5. So
yes. So
just because we're not in that climate zone doesn't mean you shouldn't do it though.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yep. Is there, obviously the way with rising building costs is always a hot topic. Everything that's going on with the world at the moment, with the war overseas, new budget release, things like that, people are getting a bit nervous. Is there certain things that you could suggest to builders or homeowners to start implementing on their builds for, like if they're wanting to start doing better? Because what I've learned from my experience is you're not going to be able to just go, cool, my next build, I'm going to do everything amazing. I'm going to go use the most expensive windows. We're going to wrap everything. We're going to put a HRV in. Like what are some of the first steps you could suggest to people wanting to do better as a bit of a step-by-step process to try and, I guess, rather than completely blow the budget, just some starters?
The very first thing I would suggest would just be to benchmark a project with a blower door test. Find out where you're at, which is what you did. The very first time we met was at a blower door test that you were doing on one of your projects. And that's the beginning of the journey, because once you start to understand that the building works as a system, it leads to everything else. So that would be step one. And then understanding membranes is step two. Understanding moisture management of the thermal envelope is step two. And you can, because most projects have got a wrap on them. They're not all the same. They have got different durabilities. They've got different performance capabilities. They've got different, the Proclimer system has a different install with the taping and the windows and everything like that. So understanding the durability and the performance of the membrane that you are using and making sure that you are doing that correctly, even if you don't use, the German membranes, making sure that you're installing what you have correctly, because it becomes a giant waste of money if you put a membrane on your external walls that's falling apart, if it's ripped, if the trades don't understand that they can't rip giant holes in it, et cetera, et cetera. So, but then on top of that, you need a team. You need the right client who wants these sorts of things, a blower door test. And you need trades who understand that the install of the membrane really, really matters. And you need a designer who understands that the detailing of roof ventilation or drained and vented cavities, et cetera, is or could be a thing. Like it is a bit of a holistic team effort. So the builder on their own, if you just go and try and sell a blower door test to a client who's got no idea, you're going to be that conversation is going to be a bit disjointed. And if you're trying to build a high performance home with trades that don't care, it's an uphill battle. If a homeowner comes to a builder who doesn't get it, it's a massive uphill battle. So there has to be an understanding of the intent of the project if it's going to be anything other than minimum building code.
I think I know the answer, but what's one product that's a bit of a no-brainer for you?
Proclimer. I have to say that, but I also
I know you
don't.
have to say that, but I guess it's like just going back to the wrap side of it, like just using the right one, like a proper vapor permeable wrap. Move away from the foil back stuff that's...
Well, you can't use it. You're not allowed to use it in anywhere in the southern half of the country. Climate zones 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So Australia, for those of you who aren't aware of the climate zones in Australia, there's 8. Climate zone 1 is Darwin and Cairns, hot and humid. Climate zone 8 is like the mountains where it snows, and then everything in between. So the cooler climates 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, you are not allowed to use foil backed or non vapor permeable membranes anymore. So if you are, have a look at the products that you're picking off the shelves or specifying, and make sure that it says class 3 or 4, depending on your climate zone.
Circus Studio is Australia's leading interior design centre. If you're an architect, building designer, interior designer, builder, or just looking to build your dream home, you need to make a time and come in and check out the space here in Port Melbourne.
With everything from wall and ceiling linings, doors, architectural hardware, cladding and flooring.
This space holds every element that you'll possibly need to design your dream home.
But understanding membranes, there's so many different types and they do so many different things. They're not the same. And just because it goes on the outside of the building, they're not all the same.
And probably more so for those that are wanting to start implementing this sort of stuff, don't try and overdo it in one go. Like it can get very, very overwhelming with a lot of new products, new information, new knowledge, new opinions. So just,
and you do have to be careful of the wrong sorts of advice as well. It is a lot. It is definitely overwhelming when you start. So I don't know. I'm here for questions if anyone wants.
That's it.
wants to help distill it down into something.
Climasure, that's what they're there for. All right. What's next for you, Jess? Where's the healthy home stuff going with the EMF, that sort of stuff? Is this going to be studies released through Climasure, or is this kind of more of your own little venture? Like, what's next with that for you?
So the EMF stuff is done, that's on a project by project basis. So that's that will be my next rabbit hole, learning about that, because as I said earlier, I'm not really sure what I think about it.
Yep.
Yes, we have radio waves all around us, our phones, our routers, our earbuds, there's electricity everywhere, and our homes are getting increasingly electrified. Is this a problem? Is this not a problem? How does it impact the body? I was standing in front of the monitor yesterday trying to take a reading from the power line, and the guy, I had Mitch from Canada on the phone because he was walking me through the assessment, because that's my first one. And he said, you need to walk away from the monitor because your body interferes with the readings. I walked up to the monitor and the reading dropped because the electricity was coming through my body.
Oh, you were earthing the frequency.
Yeah, I don't know why. It was coming through my body, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's freaky. I walked away from the monitor, and then that's my reading. I was like, that was a bit of a moment for me.
Yep.
Because we have water in our bodies, and I guess we conduct electricity.
Yep.
So are all these waves around us problematic for our health? There's claims that it affects the blood-brain barrier. I keep hearing about this blood-brain barrier. Try saying that really fast 5 times.
Well, you're not going to?
No. And the inflammation in the body and causes cancers and does it, doesn't it? There are lots of people who strongly believe it does, and there are lots of people who believe it's all just hot air. So I don't know, but I do know that it's a measurable force, and if you can reduce it, you probably should, just because it's common sense.
I don't know whether this is relevant or not. I feel like it is, but I've noticed there's certain areas when you're driving around in the city. At first, I actually thought it was just my car, but speaking to a lot of other people, it does the same thing. But there's certain roads driving down Unley Road's probably the worst one, where your the Bluetooth unit on your car, it'll just have a full meltdown, and it's only ever in those areas. So you kind of makes you wonder, what is in that area that's putting out these frequencies that are so strong that it's making your tech systems, whether it's your phone or your car or whatever, just have a complete meltdown and reset themselves. It's like, if it's doing that to the tech and they're, causing their issues with each other, it's like, what's this doing to me being in this area, or anyone that's got an office that literally works in that area? There's a certain places where you just get to know around the city where if you go through that area, it's like, well, I'm going to have a bit of a meltdown with my car here or whatever. And it's just like, far out, how bad is it to be in this place?
Do you remember back in the day when, you'd have the radio on your phone, the radio would start going, and you knew your phone was about to ring? That doesn't happen anymore. But, we can't see it, but that doesn't mean it's not impacting us.
True.
I would love to know more about that. So that's that. And then there's the whole mold stuff as well. I've, started to branch into mold testing.
We skipped over that, didn't we?
I haven't mentioned it yet, but I've been doing a bit of study on mold and chronic inflammatory response syndrome. And I have done one mold testing project in Adelaide as well, where I went into a house and took moisture readings around the house, because you can't see and smell most mold. So this lady had some health problems, and she lived in the hills. So, it's cold and wet during winter, perfect mold growth territory. And she wanted to know what was going on. I went around with my MMS3 moisture meter and was taking readings in the walls and the floors and inspecting. You sort of turn a house upside down when you do a mold inspection. You're looking under things, in things, around things to see what's going on. And I did find some elevated moisture in her walls and under some of her tiles at the doorway. So there was some moisture ingress problems that we were able to identify because we were able to measure it. We've got all this cool equipment and we can measure stuff that you can't see.
Yeah. I think I've told this story, whether I've told it to you or not, but on the podcast, I think I've told this story before, but mold is such a silent killer. We had the best example of it was a client we were doing a bathroom renovation for. They traveled a lot for work, spent a lot of time overseas, and had massive respiratory problems. And he kept saying to me, he's like, it's so weird. Like I'll travel to China and spend 5 weeks in China and I start to feel better. start to breathe a little bit better in the
China.
unhealthy air quality over there,
Smog.
and then come home in my bedroom and I just turn into, it's like I've got hay fever full time. So when we pulled the bathroom out, realised that shower had been leaking through the wall for so long, we ended up ripping half the carpet up in the hallway, and it was just covered in mould everywhere.
Yeah.
Cleaned it out, and then literally got it reported back to us like 2 months after the reno. Like, called up one day, just so thankful that we found the mould, cleared it out, and it's like, mate, it's like I'm living in a new house. Like, yeah, I've got a new bathroom, but it's also just how healthy I feel being back in my own home. Clearly, that was the issue that people have got no idea about.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of mold is hidden in cavities, under tiles, behind things, inside roof cavities and wall cavities that you can't see. And it's, there are some people who only get mild respiratory issues, like, sinus infections, chest stuff. And then there's another category of people who get severe inflammatory responses to mold, and chronic fatigue wipes them out. It can be very, very bad for sensitive people who have a genetic predisposition to the toxins in mold. So it's very, very serious.
Yep.
Can be for some people.
Are you offering mold testing for clients then, or is this something you're researching on your own at the moment?
Yeah, no, it's a service that we offer. I haven't done a heap of it as yet. I'm only I'm doing the building biology study now, as well as the podcast, as well as working, as well as life. So it's very, very interesting.
What's involved in the building biology study? Or what do you get out of it? What are you hoping to do?
So once I've finished all of the subjects, I will be a building biologist. That's the qualification. It's an advanced diploma in building biology. Now, it's not a occupational hygiene. That's the tertiary level study of, that's a higher qualification. The building biology side of things is a complementary level of knowledge and consulting onto the building science for me.
Yep. Cool. How long does it go for?
It's 2 years full time.
It's self-paced sort of thing.
Yeah, it's self-paced, but I've got to finish it within 4 years. Otherwise, they won't validate it. So, I've got 3 subjects down and 6 to go. I think 6 or 7.
Yep.
So
cool. All right. Well, we won't hold you all day, Jess. We'll wrap things up here. Right. But what's next for the podcast?
Gosh. Just some more cool guests. I'm just a humble little podcaster. You and Dean have done such an amazing job growing Build Insight.
Thank you.
Amazing sponsorships, amazing influence across the industry. I'm just plugging away over here.
You are underselling the hell out of yourself, Jess. Come on. It goes hand in hand. Like, we wouldn't have done it on our own. Like, it's the beauty of doing stuff like this is the people that you meet, like people like yourselves. I mean, obviously it was before the podcast that we met, but the way that this space is so encouraging when you start putting information out there, people are so hungry to learn or also help educate. So yeah, don't undersell yourself, please.
Yeah, I'm just happy doing what I do.
Yeah. Those that haven't heard of the Building Sciology potty or haven't listened to it before, where can people find you?
The gram, the Building Sciology. I have an Instagram page that I occasionally post on.
Yep.
Sciology is a combination of the words science and biology. I made it up, so it's not Scientology or sociology or anything weird like that.
It's a
cool, word I made up.
It's not an actual word.
And I'm on all the usual platforms: Spotify, YouTube, Apple, etc.
We'd better give Climasure a bit of a plug then, I suppose, as well.
The job that pays me. We should do that, shouldn't we? Yeah, so Climasure, obviously website, Instagram, which is, Google it, climasure.com.au.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thanks, Jess. Appreciate your time.
No worries.
It's been awesome to catch up again. Nice to see some blow door test results today and continue the chat and catch up.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want to find out more about Build Insight, head over to the website buildinsite.com.au. Over on the website, you'll find links to previous podcast episodes as well as our YouTube channel, Instagram and Facebook. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.
Well, that's a wrap for another week's episode of the Build Insight podcast. Before we leave, just want to give a huge shout out to all of our sponsors for their ongoing support. Without their help, Build Insight wouldn't be what it is today.
Let's cue the disclaimer. I need to let you know that myself and the Build Insight team are in no way, shape or form qualified to give you personal or specific business advice. We strongly encourage you seek out the use of professionals for products or when you are making personal or business decisions. Everything discussed during the Build Insight podcast is our own and the guest opinion and personal experience and is of a general nature only. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Catch you on the next one.